You walk past them every day, torn plastic bags, forgotten, unwanted. But hidden in that throwaway is potential most people never notice. What if your next garden upgrade didn't cost a thing, just a second glance? These aren't just hacks. They're quiet revolutions in your backyard. Welcome to Archon Aesthetic Studio, where small ideas bloom into soulful spaces. In this video, 20+ DIY garden borders and decor made entirely from recycled shopping bags. Timestamps are ready. Pick what you need. Ask what you want. And if this moves you, subscribe. Not for the numbers, but for the story behind them. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being here. One DIY garden border from braided plastic bags. Sometimes beauty grows in the most unexpected places. Not from marble or brick, but from something as ordinary as a plastic shopping bag. In this calm backyard, where the light dances softly over the mulch, a vibrant braided border wraps lovingly around a bed of flowers. Look closely. It's not fabric. It's not rope. It's recycled plastic, hand-braided, one loop at a time. There's something soothing about its curve. The way it hugs the path, holding in blooms of marigolds, basil, petunias, and lavender. It's humble, but proud. A reminder that design isn't always about expense. It's about intent. And with the right hands, even yesterday's trash can become today's treasure. Each section of this edging tells a story. In the first garden, the braids weave like tapestry, textured, multicolored, and bold. It invites the eye to follow the path, to wander slowly, and notice how plastic can soften the hard edge of stone. Then we step closer, into another corner, quieter, more intimate. The blue and white twists create a crisp, coastal rhythm, perfect for framing rosemary and thyme. The soil is rich, the herbs are thriving. And the border? It's perfectly imperfect, a symbol of effort, of care. And finally, we find ourselves in a cheerful backyard patch, where candy-colored braids, pink, yellow, turquoise, wrap around clusters of leafy greens and playful blooms. This isn't just a garden. It's a celebration. One that says, I did this. Not with money, but with time, creativity, and love. If you're wondering how to make it, it's simpler than you think. Collect plastic shopping bags. Cut them into strips. Twist, braid, layer, and anchor them along your garden beds with wooden stakes or stones tucked beneath. The tighter the braid, the stronger the structure. Water-resistant, flexible, and surprisingly durable against wind and rain. This isn't just about saving money. It's about redefining what beauty means in a garden. Not polished perfection, but soul. So next time you unpack your groceries and reach for the trash, pause. Imagine it braided, blooming, framing something alive. Because the line between waste and wonder is only ever drawn by your hands. Two, rustic patio fence accents using woven plastic bag panels. There's a kind of quiet pride in creating something beautiful, from something no one else wanted. In a little sun-kissed patio, tucked between two brick walls, a fence becomes a canvas. But instead of paint, it's wrapped in pattern, woven from discarded plastic bags. The greens and whites curl into a chevron rhythm, like leaves captured in motion. It's calm, it's fresh, and it's made by hand. These panels don't shout. They whisper, Someone cared enough to craft me. And that care is visible in every layer. Strips of shopping bags, once crumpled in a drawer, now stretch across a simple frame, forming protection and privacy. More than that, they bring character. Imperfections, folds, and faded prints become textures, stories, memories embedded in plastic. As we shift to another view, the tones turn warmer, browns, rusts, beiges, woven into a rustic tapestry that catches the late sun. The weaving here is tighter, sturdier, designed not just for looks, but for purpose. Behind it, a wooden bench invites a moment of pause. You can almost hear the quiet rustle of herbs growing nearby. And then, a final glimpse. Panels arranged like living windows, framed in trellis, filled with translucent color. They hang along a garden fence like patchwork art, imperfectly perfect. Plants sit gently below, lavender in bloom, succulents in ceramic pots. String lights above hint at evening gatherings, quiet laughter, stories shared under their glow. If you're wondering how, it begins simply. Flatten your plastic bags. Cut them into strips. Twist or fold, then weave through wire mesh, lattice, or wooden frames. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to begin. Choose colors that match your garden's palette, or embrace the chaos of mixed textures. Either way, the result is yours, one of a kind, and undeniably beautiful. Because upcycling isn't just about sustainability. It's about finding value in what was overlooked, and turning a dull wall into a reflection of creativity, warmth, and care. So the next time your fence looks plain, don't buy something new, weave something meaningful. 3. Tiny garden pergola decor with plastic bag tassels. There is something magical in the way light dances through tassels. In a quiet garden, where time moves slower and silence is laced with birdsong, these tassels sway, not from silk or linen, but from forgotten bags given a second life. Hanging gently from the beams of a weathered pergola, they become poetry in motion. Every breeze brings them to life, as if the garden itself is breathing. The first is subtle, earthy tones of sage, sand, and cloud gray. It blends seamlessly into the natural grain of wood, the climbing ivy wrapping itself around the post like a whispered embrace. This is not decor. It's a feeling, one of stillness, of grounded calm. The plastic is unrecognizable here. Braided, gathered, knotted, shaped into something elegant, something soulful. Then we move into joy. A burst of pastel ribbons, mint, rose, soft blush, and cotton blue, dancing under sunlit beams. The pergola becomes festive, almost like a secret celebration. Beneath it, hydrangeas bloom with pride, echoing the colors above. It feels like a place where memories are made, or where you simply rest, eyes closed, while the wind tells stories overhead. And finally, a scene that feels like the heart of a summer afternoon. A garden pergola brought to life with a full constellation of tassels, fluttering like lanterns of color. They hang at every angle, surrounding cozy chairs, terracotta pots, and cheerful blooms. There's laughter here, even if no one's speaking. There's warmth, even without the sun. If you wonder how it's made, it's as accessible as it is lovely. Gather plastic shopping bags. Flatten them, cut them into strips, braid or bunch, and tie. Each tassel begins as something disposable, but once transformed, it softens the space, adds movement, and turns your garden into something more than just plants and wood. It becomes an invitation to breathe, to sit, to smile. Because the most beautiful spaces are not always the ones that cost the most. They're the ones that carry stories. And sometimes, All it takes to tell one is a tassel made from yesterday's plastic. Four, bamboo-style faux poles made from rolled plastic bags. Sometimes, the soul of a garden doesn't bloom from flowers. It rises in quiet symmetry, standing tall like sentinels made of patience and imagination. Here, in the middle of a cheerful flowerbed, we meet something unexpected. Not bamboo, but something that looks just like it. Slender poles wrapped in hues of green and brown, crafted not from nature's stalk but from something more common, plastic shopping bags. But here, there is no trace of their origin, only grace. The lines are clean. The texture ripples softly with sunlight. Planted upright in clusters, the faux bamboo stakes bring structure to the wild softness of the zinnias. They divide space without dominance, bold, but not loud. Intentional, beautiful. Then we drift to a shaded patio, where the same idea becomes a screen, a modest divider, creating privacy in a space that invites pause. The faux bamboo glows quietly among the potted ferns. Light slips between the poles. Shadows dance gently on the ground. It's peaceful and somehow calming. The kind of spot where you read, or just breathe. Closer still, the secret becomes clearer. These aren't real bamboo at all, just tightly rolled plastic, wrapped carefully around a base. A touch of paint, a little texture, and suddenly they become something elegant, durable, weatherproof, sustainable, and incredibly easy to make. Cut your plastic bags into long strips. Roll them tightly around dowels or PVC pipes. Use tape or glue to hold them in place. Paint in earthy tones, or leave them raw and mismatched for charm. Set them upright in soil, planters, or along borders. Even a single cluster adds vertical rhythm to a flat space. Because good design doesn't always grow from what we buy. Sometimes it grows from what we save, what we shape, what we dare to see differently. So let your garden rise with character, not cost. Let your borders stand proud, wrapped in stories. And let every pole remind you that with care and vision, even the simplest materials can stand tall. Five, farmhouse-style planter covers using recycled bags. Not every treasure shines. Some of them sit quietly on a wooden porch, wrapped in soft textures, filled with life and blooming with care. Here in the heart of a simple garden, the charm doesn't come from designer pots or costly materials. It comes from transformation, the kind that turns overlooked plastic into beauty you can touch. Each planter is dressed in a farmhouse-inspired cover, handmade from recycled shopping bags, woven and layered with patience. You wouldn't guess it was plastic, not from the way it drapes, not from the way it glows softly in the midday sun. One carries basil, lush, green, and fragrant. Its terracotta pot is wrapped in a cover that mimics old linen, with rustic checks in beige and soft white. It feels like it belongs to a cottage kitchen, like it holds a recipe passed down through generations. On a table nearby, more herbs stand proudly. Thyme, oregano, mint, each wrapped in its own makeshift sleeve. The covers vary, some tied with simple jute string, others with folds and stitches that tell their own story. In the soft light, they look weathered, but intentional, like they've always been here. And beyond the table, on a quiet wooden deck, larger pots sit dressed in the same handmade fabric. Some lean toward burlap browns, others toward washed whites. They hug the shape of each container gently, letting the leaves above them catch all the attention. Daisies bloom in the background, their cheerful faces watching it all unfold. These are not just decorations. They're acts of care, of noticing, of saving. To make your own, you don't need much. Just a few clean plastic bags, some scissors, and a little imagination. Fold and layer them, stitch if you'd like, or use fabric glue to form your design. Wrap around your pot, tie gently with string, and watch as something ordinary becomes something deeply comforting. Because the beauty of farmhouse-style isn't perfection. It's warmth, it's home, and sometimes it's built with yesterday's bag and today's love. Six, Seascape-themed garden ornaments with plastic bag waves. In a quiet garden corner, where succulents grow patiently and grasses sway to their own rhythm, waves rise, not with thunder, but with tenderness. Sculpted by hand, layered with care, and born from something as humble as plastic shopping bags, these garden waves capture the spirit of the sea without ever touching water. They curl and rise in rich hues of blue, aquas, teals, deep sapphires, each fold mimicking the energy of a tide just beginning to crest. They don't move, yet they feel alive. At their base, seashells nestle among soft white pebbles, and a miniature lighthouse watches over this tiny coastal escape, as though guiding a ship through gentle foam. Elsewhere, a boat waits quietly beside sculpted waves and scattered driftwood, caught mid-journey across a sea that fits in the palm of your hand. Daisies bloom nearby, their soft white petals echoing the frothy crests. Light filters in from the side, catching every curve of the plastic, making it glisten as though kissed by salt and sun. And then there is the simplest version, a single swirling wave encircled by stone. Coral and starfish rest at its base. Sand fills the tiny shore. It feels like a memory, a day at the beach, bottled and placed in your garden. No noise, no chaos, just calm, just creativity. Creating these pieces doesn't require talent, only time, patience, and a love for storytelling through your hands. Twist the bags, layer them, mold and glue. You'll find that plastic, when reshaped, can carry emotion. It can mimic movement. It can capture moments once thought impossible. Because the ocean lives not only in the vastness of water, but in the curve of imagination, in a garden that dares to dream, and in every ripple made not from waves, but from the will to give something forgotten a second chance. Let your garden whisper of tides. Let it echo waves without sound. And let your hands prove that even plastic can carry the poetry of the sea. 7. Mini gazebo curtains made of colorful plastic bag strips. Sometimes the gentlest beauty is the one that moves, that dances softly when the breeze decides to pass. And here, among wildflowers and wooden beams, it takes the form of drifting curtains, made not from silk or linen, but from the humble whisper of plastic bags given a second life. Strips of pastel blue, soft pink, mellow yellow. They flutter in layers, suspended from the edge of a small backyard gazebo. Each strip tied with care, knotted in quiet rhythm. Some edges are rough, others smooth, yet together they flow with an elegance that no one would ever expect from yesterday's grocery run. They don't shout. They don't try too hard. They just belong. In the golden light of evening, these handmade curtains become living color. As the sun sinks behind the trees, they glow gently, transforming the space beneath into a sanctuary, a tiny retreat for slow tea, soft laughter, or a quiet thought. And when morning returns, light pours through again. Inside, a simple table waits with potted blooms, catching reflections of each dancing color. Outside, grasses and flowers nod along, as if welcoming the charm of this small crafted haven. This is what DIY can be, to create something so soft, so poetic, from something thrown away. All you need is a little time and intention. Cut the plastic bags into long strips, choose the colors you love, and tie them one by one across a beam. Let the breeze finish the story, because when we design with feeling, even the smallest gazebo becomes a stage, and even recycled plastic can become the curtain to your quietest joy. Let your garden breathe beauty. Let it sway. Let it sing, not loudly, but gently, like home. Eight, upcycled hanging flower baskets with bag liners. In a quiet garden where blossoms meet the breeze, sometimes the simplest things carry the most wonder. What once was tossed aside, a shopping bag, forgotten in a drawer, finds new life among the petals. Here, suspended gently from wooden beams and sturdy branches, hang baskets that whisper stories of transformation. Each one is lined with a layer of recycled plastic, smoothed and shaped with care. It's not just a liner, it's a hidden layer of protection and purpose. One holds the delicate purple of pansies, another bursts with the fiery orange of marigolds, and a third cradles cascading ivy like a verdant waterfall. Look closely and you'll see how every bag tells its own story. A plain white one, once a grocery carrier, now offers a clean and understated canvas. A printed wrapper, faint logos still visible, adds subtle character beneath vibrant blooms. Even translucent layers have their moment, catching the sunlight and cradling droplets of water like morning dew. These upcycled liners do more than hold soil. They help retain moisture, making each basket more forgiving in the summer heat. They give structure to even the flimsier wire frames. And most beautifully, they turn something disposable into something durable, sustainable, and utterly charming. For those who wander through the garden, these hanging baskets feel like floating bouquets, each swaying gently with the wind, effortlessly anchored by unseen acts of creativity. And the best part? You can do it too. Choose any hanging basket you have, old or new. Shape your recycled bags to line the inside. Fold the edges neatly for a snug fit. Then add soil, seeds, or blooming plants of your choice. Within minutes, you've given new purpose to something forgotten. Let your garden speak with kindness. Let it show that beauty doesn't demand perfection or expense, just intention and a little imagination. Disclaimer: all images and visual representations in this video are generated using AI tools. While we strive for relevance and creativity, some visual details may include minor imperfections that were not apparent during production. Every scene is curated with the hope that it feels real, doable, and inspiring, no matter where in the world you're watching from. Nine, Japanese-inspired garden lanterns made from plastic bags. As dusk settles and the world quiets, a gentle glow rises from the earth. Scattered along the winding path of a Zen garden, soft lanterns, handcrafted from translucent white plastic bags, begin to shimmer like fireflies suspended in stillness. Their humble origins belie the beauty they now exude, standing proudly amid raked gravel swirls, mossy stones, and the stoic silhouettes of bonsai. These aren't just lights. They are poems, folded and lit from within. In one corner, a single lotus-shaped lantern blooms beside a koi pond. Each petal, cut from the delicate crinkle of ivory-toned plastic, catches the last kiss of daylight. With koi gliding slowly in the water beneath, The entire scene feels like a brushstroke from an old ink painting, yet born from discarded shopping bags. It's a moment of unexpected grace, where trash becomes tender illumination. Above the pathway, more lanterns float from a bamboo pergola. Some are box-shaped in white and rich vermilion, drawing their form from traditional Japanese Andan lights. When lit from within with warm LEDs or solar-powered bulbs, they cast a calm radiance that doesn't dazzle, but soothes. They don't need to shout to be noticed. They simply glow with purpose. And that's the beauty of this DIY. There's no need for expensive materials or complicated tools. All it takes is a gentle hand, a bit of time, and a shift in perspective. Each lantern begins with what most people throw away, yet in the quiet of evening, they become the soul of the garden. Their crinkles, creases, and folds catch shadows and light like rice paper, fragile but resilient. Want to make your own? Start by folding and layering plastic bags into geometric forms. Choose translucent bags for soft lighting or colored ones for a more festive feel. Use LED candles or fairy lights inside, never real flames. And place them where they can interact with nature. Under trees, along gravel paths, or near water for magical reflections. The result is not just a light source, but a feeling. A recycled lantern doesn't just illuminate your garden. It illuminates the power of intention, the art of noticing beauty in the overlooked, and the joy of making something meaningful with your own hands. It's a quiet rebellion against waste, and an invitation to slow down. In this garden, every glow tells a story, and that story begins not at the store, but in your own kitchen drawer, where yesterday's shopping bag is waiting to become tomorrow's masterpiece. (10) Vertical garden pockets for small spaces using heat-fused bags. There is something quietly magical about a garden that doesn't grow outward, but upward. Along a sun-warmed fence or a shaded balcony wall, life finds a way not only to root, but to rise. In a world increasingly pressed for space and burdened by the remnants of everyday convenience, a humble solution takes form: the heat-fused shopping bag. Once crumpled in the corner of a drawer, forgotten, now repurposed into vertical pockets of potential. These are not mere containers, they are small sanctuaries of growth. Each bag, ironed carefully between parchment paper, becomes a water-resistant cradle, strong enough to hold soil and sturdy enough to cling to wooden slats with quiet confidence. Their colors, slate gray, coal black, translucent frost, offer a modern contrast to the bursts of green and the cheerful blush of flowers above. On a narrow balcony, the morning light kisses fresh mint and cilantro as they stretch their arms toward the sun. Their scent, when touched by a passing breeze, brings the memory of garden markets and herb-filled kitchens. Along the fence, leafy lettuces sway in unison like a quiet green choir, layered in a neat patchwork of possibility. This vertical garden is not a monument to excess, it's a whisper of resourcefulness. No fancy tools required, just patience, intention, and perhaps a little faith in the transformation of things once deemed useless. For those with limited space or aching for a connection to the soil, this method opens the door to something liberating. It's lightweight, portable, and personal. And each pocket, each bloom, each leaf, tells a story of second chances. So next time you hold a shopping bag in your hand and hesitate before tossing it, imagine instead a wall of color, a curtain of flavor, a living gallery of your own creation. Because when beauty climbs a wall, it doesn't ask for permission, it simply grows. (11) DIY cute fence planter pouches with printed plastic bags. In a quiet corner of a cheerful garden, laughter grows in unexpected ways. Here, blooming flowers do not rest in polished pots or designer troughs. They dance freely from the sides of reused plastic shopping bags, swinging lightly on a sun-warmed white picket fence. Red, green, turquoise, and blue, each bag holds a past life, a whisper of the market, the grocer, the daily errands of old. And yet now, reborn, they cradle joy. Some hold petunias with petals like painted sunsets. Others, a waterfall of vines cascading with wild abandon. Even the herbs peek out curiously, as though they've found a new rhythm in this vibrant vertical gallery. The bags, stitched or tied simply, are hung with bits of ribbon, string, or leftover yarn, proving once again that beauty blooms best in imperfection. There's something disarmingly nostalgic about the prints. Logos partially faded by time, typography bold and unapologetic, all clashing together in a collage of color and thrift. It's quirky, it's imperfect, it's perfect. And the magic? It's entirely replicable. All it takes is a few sturdy plastic bags, the type you once thought of as clutter, a pair of scissors, a way to secure them to the fence, and a handful of potting soil. With minimal stitching or fusing, or even just folding and tucking, you can create small pouches, tough enough to cradle marigolds or mint. They drain well if pierced underneath, and retain moisture surprisingly efficiently. It's low cost, lightweight, and incredibly cheerful. But beyond function, these planters speak to something deeper. They're proof that waste is often just a misunderstood beginning. That high-end looks can grow from humble origins. That your garden can be a canvas for expression. Not just botanical, but personal, playful, and full of stories. So let your fence bloom not just with flora, but with the echoes of your creativity. Turn your grocery bags into joy. Let your hands remake the forgotten into the unforgettable. And as the wind sways your repurposed pouches like little pendants of pride, know this: you didn't just grow flowers, you cultivated wonder. "12. Thrifty outdoor seating cushions covered with plastic bags." In a quiet garden corner where laughter softens and sunlight lingers, two handmade chairs rest beside a simple wooden crate. Their cushions are unexpected, vividly patterned, stitched from discarded plastic shopping bags, transformed by patient hands and quiet intention. They carry the vibrant hues of advertisements, grocery logos, and everyday ephemera, now given a second life beneath the warm glow of a garden lamp. This is not just seating, it's a statement that beauty doesn't need to begin new. It only needs to be seen with fresh eyes. In another nook, a bench stretches beneath the afternoon sun, its back and seat clad in a sturdy patchwork of colorful plastic squares. Logos from noodle wrappers, detergent bags, and delivery sacks form a quilt of urban memory. Each patch once a mundane item, now a proud piece of a weather-resistant cushion. The effect is as comforting as it is resourceful. With a soft pillow tucked into the corner and potted plants swaying nearby, the space invites both conversation and quiet solitude. Around the bend, a bamboo screen frames a tranquil seating area where the tones shift softer, earthy greens, faded grays, whispers of pastel blue. The cushions here are no less impressive, woven from softened plastic strips into gentle rhythms of texture and line. Their understated beauty blends with the living greens around them. Light spills gently over everything, illuminating not just a DIY creation, but a philosophy that elegance can emerge from what we often throw away. If you're wondering how to start, let these visuals be your guide. Begin with a collection of plastic bags, thoroughly cleaned and flattened. With a bit of parchment paper and a hot iron, you can fuse layers into sturdy sheets. These sheets become fabric, resilient, water-resistant, and surprisingly flexible. Stitch them together by hand or with a sewing machine to create panels. Then fill with foam or recycled stuffing. Beyond function, there's meaning. Each bag used is one less choking our landfills. Each cushion sewn is a step toward mindful making. These aren't just seats in a garden. They are symbols of creativity with conscience, comfort built from cast-offs, a gentle rebellion against waste. So the next time you reach for a plastic bag, ask yourself, could this be something more? In your hands, it might just become a seat where stories are shared, tea is sipped, and change quietly takes root. Eco-friendly garden sculptures from layered plastic bag shapes. In a world often clouded by waste and the forgotten remnants of convenience, there is something quietly magical about watching discarded plastic bags bloom into beauty. A garden path, framed by bursts of marigolds and radiant sunflowers, now hosts a new kind of flora, handmade, delicate, and defiantly bright. These aren't your average garden decorations. They are blossoms born from layered plastic bags, shaped and coaxed into petals and leaves by patient hands and curious minds. Their translucent hues catch the morning light like stained glass in nature's chapel. Mounted on slender sticks, they dance softly in the breeze, as if grateful to have found a second life among the real flowers. And then, perched quietly on a mossy stump, a bluebird, crafted entirely from twisted plastic scraps, tilts its head toward the garden. Its feathers are a mosaic of grocery logos and bold type, reimagined into a symbol of renewal. The contrast is striking. Synthetic waste transformed into something that looks almost alive. It doesn't chirp, but it speaks volumes. Further in, near a pile of stones and under the shade of broad leaves, a butterfly appears. Its wings are playful swirls of color, flanked by blooming sculptures in red and white. These flowers don't wilt. They remain bright, cheerful, permanent residents of a garden that values both imagination and intention. This isn't just craft. It's storytelling with scraps, each petal and wing a chapter from a bag's former life. To create your own garden magic, start with what you already have. Look at that bag you almost tossed. Could it become a lily? A bird's wing? Use simple tools: scissors, wire, wooden sticks. Layer the plastic. Twist, fold, stitch, or fuse. There's no perfection here, just play. Even a rough edge adds to the charm. What you'll find, beyond the practical joy of reuse, is a new rhythm in your garden. One that doesn't just grow from the ground, but from your hands. A rhythm that reminds us that beauty doesn't always begin at the source. It often emerges in the transformation. So the next time you walk your garden, notice the rustle of plastic petals mingling with real ones. The quiet watch of a sculpted bird. The butterfly that doesn't fly, yet still lifts the spirit. You'll see, this garden isn't just green, it's poetic. And it began not with money, but with mindfulness. Trash to treasure? No, this is treasure rediscovered. Cheap rainproof shade for backyard pergola with plastic bags. Somewhere between the sound of falling rain on the garden roof and the rustle of morning leaves, a new kind of beauty quietly takes root. Not bought from stores, not born of luxury, but crafted with care, intention, and the humble plastic bag. In this garden, creativity blossoms where others see waste. The pergola overhead, its beams once bare, now wears a quilt of heat-fused shopping bags. Look closer, and you'll notice familiar logos softened by time and tension, layered like translucent tiles. During a gentle rain, droplets kiss its surface and slide away, leaving the space below warm and dry. The fusion of practicality and poetry is effortless here. Beneath this shaded canopy, there's room for comfort. DIY cushions stitched from recycled bags rest on rustic wooden seats. Colorful patchworks of brand names and faded fonts sewn into softness. What was once disposable now supports you gently as you sip evening tea, surrounded by blooms. But the magic doesn't stop with comfort. Every corner of this backyard whispers a story of ingenuity. Along the fence, planter pouches made from vibrant, patterned plastic bags hang like cheerful flags, spilling with herbs and flowers. Their presence is a gentle rebellion against the ordinary, proving that even the smallest garden can grow bold ideas. Wander further, and you'll meet a garden filled with whimsy. Handmade sculptures, birds, butterflies, and flowers, crafted from layered plastic shapes, peek out from marigold beds and mossy stones. Their colors sing in harmony with the natural hues around them, their forms catching sunlight and imagination alike. These aren't just decorations. They are declarations of joy, play, and resourceful hands. And if you ever wondered where to begin, the answer is simple. Start with what you have. A collection of bags saved from the past, an iron, a bit of thread, and the courage to reimagine. No need for perfection. Each fold and layer tells its own story. The heart of this DIY journey is not only about sustainability, though that is its soul. It's about choosing presence over polish, hands-on creation over passive consumption. It's about finding peace in the process, ironing crinkles smooth, stitching textures together, seeing beauty emerge from the overlooked. So next time you glance at a crumpled plastic bag, pause. Let your imagination wander. See not what it was, but what it could be. A lantern that lights your path, a bloom that never wilts, a seat that welcomes rest. Your garden awaits, not for things to be bought, but for wonders to be made. (15) Recycled plastic bag wind spinners for tiny yards. In the stillness of a backyard garden, where butterflies flirt with flowers and wind brushes gently against leaves, a whisper of ingenuity dances on the breeze, born not from luxury, but from the humble rustle of a plastic bag. Today, we journey into a charming corner of sustainable creativity. Wind spinners made from recycled shopping bags, vibrant, kinetic art born from things once discarded. Take a moment to breathe in the playfulness of this little garden. Suspended above a bed of lettuce and climbing cherry tomatoes, 3 colorful forms spin and flutter like sea creatures caught in midair. These are no ordinary garden decorations. Each piece, with loops, fins, and petals, has been lovingly sculpted from shopping bags that once carried groceries and now carry joy. The process is simpler than it looks, and more poetic than it seems. By cutting strips of plastic into flowing ribbons, layering them over lightweight frames, think wire, bamboo, or reused sticks, and fusing them gently with low heat or glue, you give the plastic a new story to tell. A red bag becomes a fish's tail, blue strips swirl into a pinwheel, floral patterns bloom into kinetic blossoms. And once they're hung, from branches, pergolas, or slender poles, they dance with the wind, catching sunlight like stained glass in motion. In another frame, we see a spiral, crisp stripes of red, white, and blue coiled like a peppermint candy, twisting in the breeze. Its motion is mesmerizing, reminding us of how movement, even in a quiet garden, brings life. Further down the path, spinning circles painted in rainbow hues blur as they turn. Some mid-spin, some caught in a standstill, all set along a curving garden trail that seems drawn from a children's book. These are joy markers, mood lifters, made from nothing more than bags that might have ended up tangled in trees or buried in landfills. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't just decoration. It's connection. When you make these spinners, you slow down. You cut, you shape, you observe. You rediscover the tactile charm of craft. Children can help. Neighbors can contribute their old bags. Suddenly, your garden becomes more than a growing space. It's a community story, sewn together with a thread of purpose. If you're looking for an easy entry into upcycling, this is it. No fancy tools, just imagination, time, and a new way of seeing value in the overlooked. So next time the wind picks up and rustles your garden leaves, listen closely. It might just be whispering an invitation to create, to renew, to spin beauty from waste, and to let your garden sing with color, movement, and meaning. If this video meant something to you, please know that subscribing means the world to me. You're not just supporting content, you're supporting a dream that keeps my family going. Thank you, truly. I'd also love to hear from you. What did you enjoy the most? Is there anything I could do better to keep inspiring or simply entertaining you? Your feedback helps this channel grow with heart and purpose. Let me know in the comments. I read every one.